everybody. Okay, let me get everything up here. I was so close to being ready. I was seconds away from having everything I needed going, and I just didn't quite get there. But I'd rather have you hear me ramble for a minute or so while I fill the time, rather than be left waiting. Oh my God, when's he gonna get here? Which, I mean, is the call that I make. I don't know if that's actually preferable from the perspective of any of you folks, but that's what you get. Okay, cool. So, nice. Okay, before you read Player of Games, you might want to Google and read a blog post by the author called A Few Notes on the Culture. It gives a lot of context for the book's universe. I might do that because I actually did start that. Okay. Sending some good thoughts and love to you all. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. If not, I hope your day gets better. That is a wonderful sentiment. Thank you. Oh, the Hufflepuff in Scotland. Hey, everybody. Okay, let me get my notes, because I have notes this time. I've skimped on that the last few times, but I actually have some now. And notes just being like things that I mean to bring up at some point and have frequently forgotten. So this time trying to, do it better. Oh, TV and Sin on a different channel. Hoovy and Rap Battles. What are you up to? That is an interesting sounding project. How you be? I be okay. This week is better than last week was, but as I noted to a coworker, a filing cabinet could have dropped on my head and it still would have been better than last week was. But, improvement is improvement, so I'll take it. Love the vids. Thank you very much. Ooh, Toreador in London. I love that people are tossing out, Hogwarts houses, Vampire the Masquerade, tribes. Like, oh, this is great. Take what you can get. Yeah, pretty much. Can you do a Scottish accent? I could try, but I'm also not going to, because I feel like it's just going to end up being insulting. Like, my go at a Scottish accent amuses my 7-year-old, but nobody needs to hear that. What game is in the N64? I think, yeah, it's still Mario Kart 64 in there. He would need scotch. Hufflepuff from New Hampshire. Oh, Doctor Who guy. Hey there. Like the color of your shirt, my friend. Well, which shirt? The one underneath or the button up? But yeah, I suppose means I get to show that off. So, and I actually on the Teespring storefront, I just put up the inverse on this with the gender is fluid, the nerd is constant, flipping it around. So if this interests you, but you kind of like it said the other way, that's now available. Hey, plugging my stuff, almost like someone who knows what they're doing, is crazy. Slytherin baby, oh yeah. Do we have any Raven Puffs? Like, if you're gonna do the house split, Liz is probably a Raven Puff. Like, she's kind of almost everything except Gryffindor. I think we've actually described her as the huffiest little slither claw. Overshirt, the T is nice. Ah, yes. Ravenclaw, Ravendor. Now I'm intrigued. Hufflepuff from Maryland. Best house splits is clearly Slitherclaw. So, something that I meant to do last time, but I literally, it was buried under a pile of other stuff, so I forgot. I was sent another book. This one actually written by a subscriber. This is Alex Baxter Scott and their book Trem. So I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I have received it. And the cover is very cool, and the description is interesting. So I do want to get to it, but time. It's that thing that there's literally no such thing as enough of. Watching An Unearthly Child for the first time last night was pleasantly surprised at how watchable it was. Yeah, that thing holds up. Like the eventually it kind of comes immediately after. I think they've kind of labeled it as 10,000 BC or something like that. That's fine, but Unearthly Child, like as a solo piece, really good. I watched Shada yesterday. I'm assuming you mean the animated recreation, because there are multiple options for what you could have meant there. Take your time. 400 pages is one hell of a thing to get through. If anything else, it makes an excellent doorstop. Well, thank you, Alex, for that recommendation as well. So it can pull its weight until I get around to it. In southern New Hampshire last summer, we had our first Pride Festival, and it'll probably happen again this year. Any chance of you attending? It would depend on the date, on the very specific date, because, and this happens a lot. Like this is why like I almost never have any free time. I have my kid every other week, so that and for the whole weekend, because her mother and I trade her off on Wednesdays so that we can each have complete weekends. And what that means is you tell me that something's going on and there's literally a 50-50 chance that I will look at my calendar and go, nope, I have my daughter, so can't do it. So I'm not going to make any promises. The other thing is, like, money's really tight right now. I'm going to be recovering from taxes for a little bit. So I mean, I would love to go to more stuff in general. Pride and cons and I don't think I mentioned this time. I have gotten the tickets for cons. This year it's gonna be Terrificon in Connecticut. That's confirmed. Tickets are bought. And Gallifrey 1 next year, which if you didn't already get tickets for, probably sold out by now. But that is thanks to the Patreon support and the people who support me on here. Like I couldn't do this stuff otherwise. So that's a big deal. Just like Captain Marvel in the cinema today. That's cool that it's still in some cinemas. Like even with Endgame coming up like quick. That's very cool. If I can find out the date, I'll shoot you a message on here. Awesome. That is totally cool. So yes. So speaking of Endgame, I'm not going to get to it this weekend. I'm not going to get to it till next weekend. And that's by choice. I could see it sooner than this, but the thing is, I really want to watch it with Liz. We didn't get to see Captain Marvel together, but the last few Marvel films we got to go to together. We went to Infinity War together. We went to Black Panther together. I would really like to see this with her. And to my mind, like, I don't think people are waiting to see the movie until they hear my review. So I don't think it'll be the end of the world if I don't get it out until like a week later. And honestly, by then it'll probably be safer for me to talk about spoilers. Doesn't mean I have to be very careful on the internet for about a week, but we'll see. Could Yoda block wizard spells like he did with Force Lightning? That's a good question because, Yoda was blocking something physical, whereas with wizard spells, there isn't always, a tangible bolt. Sometimes there is. Depends on what the spell is. So for my money, Yoda could block and sort of take and disperse anything that, like, shoots a bolt of some kind of energy. He can cope with that. But if it's like, I don't know, if it's a sleep spell, a transmogrification spell, like something that doesn't shoot something at him, maybe not. That's a tougher call. Shazam was good. I like Captain Marvel, but preferred Shazam. Yeah, Shazam I still haven't gotten to, and I don't know when I will with that one. I think there was a fire in my kitchen, but I'm enjoying this stream too much to check. The kids should be fine. Yeah. It's not a problem. Don't worry about it. Seriously though, if you smell smoke, just go check. I'm gonna be here for like another 50 minutes, so it's fine. Who do you think would win in a battle, Yoda or the Master in the end of time? Probably Yoda, just because the Master doesn't really have firm control over what he's slinging around in that one. What are your opinions on Series 1 of Torchwood? It's really up and down. It doesn't really have any good episodes until a ways into it. And even then, they're kind of sporadic. There's like, hang on one second. Sorry, bug. Torchwood to me is only good on occasion. When it is good, it can be very good. But, I mean, Torchwood got off to a really bad start. The second episode of Torchwood, day one, I hate. Like, I think it's atrociously, unforgivably bad. Let's see. Opinion on season 2 of Stranger Things. I'm not going to bog down the chat with that because I've got a video up for that one. So you want to know my problems with season 2 of Stranger Things, because that's mostly what I talk about, you can go check that out. Do you watch Gotham? Yes, and when the show ends, the end of this week, I will put up an overview review of season 5. And also, once it's over, Liz and I are going to do a top 10 characters from Gotham joint thing. We've been planning that one for a while, so that'll be a lot of fun. Kind of like what we did for Buffy a little bit ago. Have you seen any Doctor Who edits? I don't think so, because I'm not entirely sure what that means. 12 minutes and no drinking game questions. Yeah, I think they've caught on to us. And actually, I don't have anything with me. That was something I didn't grab. I was too busy setting this up. I do not have beverage. Dang. No, that's empty. Dang it. Okay. Have you ever watched Supernatural? I have not. Bunch of slackers tonight. Quite possibly. I snuck downstairs to watch this because I'm supposed to do homework. How's it going? Look, I'm not writing you a note for your teacher, okay? Just own up to whatever the consequences of this are. Have you seen The Expanse? Nope. What's your preferred pronoun? Cheers. There we go. Go grab a drink. We'll wait. What did you think of the cabinet meeting in Children of Earth? The one where the precision... I mean, Children of Earth just overall is great. I actually think episode 3 is a little bit unnecessary, but overall that miniseries, I'm not even going to break it down episode by episode or scene by scene, but like that's really good. And I need to revisit it one of these days. I'm nervous too because the last time I watched it, I didn't have my own kid. So I'm kind of worried about getting wrecked by it now. So we'll see. Want to help me with my homework? No. Like, what of all the things in adulthood that I don't care for, the fact that my job doesn't follow me home, that's a big one. So no, homework, no, I'll pass. Hold on, I did have notes here. Hang on, let me get to some of these. Okay, so here's a random tidbit that I just find funny at this point. You know how the Disney Plus streaming thing is going to be launching towards the end of this year, roundabout, and how they're putting basically everything on it, like the entirety of Disney and like all Star Wars and Marvel and all the shows they're going to be producing and all this stuff, bunch of Fox stuff. You know what's one thing that they've confirmed is not going to be going up on there? Song of the South is not going to go up on Disney Plus, which is so funny to me. Because Song of the South, at this point, it's almost more infamous for the fact that Disney just won't release it again than for what it actually is. And it's really weird because, like, it got released to theaters, like, as late as the 80s. I saw Song of the South in the theater on a re-release run. So, and we all know what it is. We all, if you want to know what Song of the South is, we all know what it is. So the fact that they're continuing to try and hide it, as if we don't know that it exists and what it is, rather than do what Disney themselves did with their, like, war propaganda films, and what Warner Brothers did with some of its stuff that has not aged very well, and just said, look, understand the time and the context this was released. We understand it's not okay now, but look, here. I don't get why they're still running away from this thing. I really don't. It's so weird to me. He needs to react to Sabrina. I have not seen Sabrina. Liz has. She liked it pretty well, but a big part of why she liked it was she had watched the first season of Riverdale before that, and she'd hated Archie so much. She liked Sabrina way more than a lot of other people that I've heard from. I have heard that there are a fair amount of LGBTQ plus elements in it, so I am curious for that. But like, I haven't set aside time to do it yet. Backlash and cancel culture for Disney. I don't think they're hiding it. They're probably trying to be, a better company. Well, see, the thing is, I honestly think the streaming platform would be the perfect way to release it. Because since the streaming platform is you pay for the streaming, you get access to everything. It's not like they're saying, here's this shameful part of our history, give us money for it, the way that they would with a DVD or a Blu-ray release. Putting it out on streaming is the perfect opportunity to basically just cleanse the whole thing. And like I said, to put I was going to say a warning, like a disclaimer at the front, like Warner Brothers did with some of their dated stuff, like with this other stuff, because right now it just seems like they're afraid of it, which is weird. I find it strange. I don't get why you took issue with Arya wanting to have sex before she dies. It's not like she's doing it to impress anyone. Okay, yeah, a lot of people seem to misunderstand me, and I don't think I explained myself very well on that. I do not have an issue with Arya making that choice. I don't have it's not like I think Arya's innocent. So I'm like, no, preserve her virginity. Like, I don't care. She's an empowered woman. She can do whatever she wants. There's just something about that specific sentiment. The sentiment of, I don't want to die a virgin. And it's a relatable one. I'm not judging her for having that sentiment. I don't think this sullies the character or anything. There's just something about the use of that as a trope that rubs me the wrong way. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. So I feel like I explained myself poorly. I'm not sure I did much better here, but I feel like I expressed myself poorly in my review because a number of people seemed thrown off by my issue there, and didn't quite get where I was coming from. And I should have made it clear that this was not something where I could go, look, I can explain to you exactly why this doesn't work and why this is problematic. This was just a case of it just rubs me the wrong way. And it's just something about that sentiment. And I don't even know why. Weird hang up, my own headspace. There you go. Oh, it's side boob, of course. Yeah, side boob. Oh dear. How many folks is this buffering for? It's showing as okay on my end. Torchwood, should it return? No. No, it should not. I see you have swords. I have a theory that you are a secret 2,000-year-old warrior from a distant planet, and you're planning on taking back your home from the evil Jackie Tyler from Doctor Who. Oh dear. It's an interesting theory. Comb through all my videos, see what supporting evidence you can find. That's not me trying to artificially pad out my views by telling someone to watch all 900 plus videos. Maybe you want a more substantial reason for people to get together. I'm not sure I do, though. Like, I don't have a problem with there being, like, just because they can. And like I said, I cannot explain why the specific sentiment of I don't want to die a virgin rubs me the wrong way. Maybe it's just because I've seen too many like oftentimes cheesy and oftentimes meant to be like to single a character out as a scumbag. I've seen in things where like that's used as a line, like some guy being like, "This could be our last night on Earth. You don't want to die a virgin, do you?" And like, I think just something about that sentiment just skeeves me, and like almost regardless of context. So, like, I don't think there's a deeper reason. It just. I'm looking forward to the Utopia review. Yep, that's tomorrow. Hope it's good because I love the Master Arc. If you've already done it and I missed it, I probably look stupid. No, I mean, I've shot it. It hasn't come out yet. It comes out tomorrow. What are your thoughts on the Fantastic Four movies from the 2000s? I don't mind the first one insofar as there wasn't really that strong a superhero template yet. Spider-Man had come out, and they kind of knew, oh, we can show some of the ridiculous stuff from the comics, and they tried for that, but it didn't quite work. The second one I actually find really insulting. Not because it's worse than the first one, it's actually probably on about the same level, but the fact that they didn't bother trying to improve anything. It is all the exact same problems, the exact same issues. They just did it again. They didn't try and improve. They didn't try to learn. They didn't try and refine. They just did it again. And I just found that insulting. This is going to sound random as hell, or it would if it wasn't for the surname. But do you like ERB? Stands for Epic Rap Battles of History. I've seen a couple, and like they're fine. It's just not really my bag. I enjoyed the ones I saw. They just didn't they didn't click enough with me that I felt like I wanted to see more. I don't view it as I don't want to die a virgin. I view it as this is a big part of human experience and I want to know what it's like. Like, again, it's not... Like, I'm going to get off this topic just because I don't know how to better express it. Like, there's all these things that people are like, oh, are you like this about it? I'm like, well, no, I'm not, but it still bothers me. So, like, I don't know. I just need to leave that alone at this point. Did you see Class? I caught it on Netflix and enjoyed it. Was amazed the Doctor Who spinoff snuck past me. I haven't seen Class. I missed it during its initial run and just never got back to it. And then when I heard it was canceled, I was kind of like, oh, well, maybe I don't really need to bother. Favorite MCU movie? Ooh. Might be Spider-Man Homecoming. That's a tough call, though. For me, Doctor Who is a childhood memory, and this is why I can never leave the show. What is the reason you love the show? Because of the possibility of it. It is about someone with a magic box that takes them anywhere in time and space. It can do any genre. It can be set in any location. It can be set in any time. For me, there's no reason for that to ever end, because it can literally do anything. How about the Orvilles? Still haven't seen past the first few episodes. Again, issue of time. Will you make a video on the new Godzilla trailer? Ah! That's what I forgot. I meant to check that out before this live stream happened. No, I probably won't do a video on it. But yeah, I meant to watch that. Son of a gun. Oh, and speaking of Spider-Man Homecoming, its sequel, Spider-Man Far From Home, is officially going to close out the Phase 3 of the MCU. So for those keeping track, Phase 3 started with Captain America Civil War. It will run through Spider-Man Far From Home, which means it will comprise 11 films. Phases 1 and 2 were only 6 films each. So they've strung this one out for quite a while. I started reading it. Do you mean you've already started reading The Player of Games? Are you finding it confusing? I mean, yes, I have started reading it. I haven't gotten very far into it, and no, I'm not finding it too confusing so far. But then again, like I'm not that far into it. When I say I just started, I mean like today. I just started reading it. Let's see. Do you like Rick and Morty? No. No, I don't. I don't enjoy the characters. I understand why people like Rick and Morty. It's a very smartly written show. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but I don't like spending time with these people. So no, I don't enjoy it. Any advice on coming out? It really depends on your specific circumstances, and who you have in your life to come out to. Because that's the thing. Coming out is not something you do once. It's something you do in stages continuously for a long time. So, see if I can run down my timeline real quick. I came out to anyone at all for the first time. I was 20. I came out to my mother. I was probably 26, maybe. Came out to most of my friends around 30. And am I back? Come on back. Yeah! There we go. Huh, son of a bitch. I don't know what's up with my connection tonight. Boxers or brief boxers? Like briefs, I've never really much cared for. Thought the buffering was just me. No, it even happened on my end. I had to reconnect. For the day when you don't actually have to come out and people just be people. Oh, Kim, what a glorious day that will be. Buffer the live stream slayer. Love it. I never understood coming out. I just lived my life and let people realize it. I mean, a lot of it also, part of coming out also, you have to realize for a lot of us has to do with, we go through periods of our own self-discovery. So, like, especially if you're any sort of what tends to be thought of as atypical gender variant, transgender, genderqueer, gender fluid, agender, bigender, etc. A good portion of us don't really understand what's going on with our sense of gender, like for a long time. So coming out is usually something that you have to do if for no other reason than you were living your life visibly as something that you've realized, oh, that's not me. And I'm not saying you can't just start living a different way that fits you better, but people are going to have questions. If they've been used to you living one way and you begin living another, and I don't mean that in like you owe everyone an explanation, but I mean like people are just going to have questions. They're going to be confused. So, like I said, coming out is, if you can live a life where you never have to bother even doing it and you just get to live, that's a thing of beauty. But that's certainly hasn't been my reality, and it hasn't been the reality of the vast majority of LGBTQ plus people that I know, at any rate. Do you like Steven Universe? Still haven't seen it. What's your favorite insert song or background theme from Doctor Who? You mean like current theme or like just music track? Because just music track, it's The Greatest Story Never Told from the two-parter in the library from Series 4. I knew that my daughter was genderqueer before she came out, but it was still an important step for her. Yeah, and that's a thing too. Like, I think it's a fairly common thing when you come out that people who know you pretty well will roll with it pretty well, because there's a decent chance that they're like, they either knew or like, I knew something was up, but I didn't know the specifics, but they're waiting for you. They're waiting for you to be ready to talk about it. As a bi woman married to a man, I really need to get the I'm not just an ally t-shirt. Oh, is that a t-shirt? That'd be very cool. Yeah, Liz and I had this conversation actually just when I saw her this past weekend about how annoying it is for her that she doesn't clock as queer to people, because she's kind of had it with certain people, like assuming that she's, you know, a completely straight heterosexual cisgender and is in no way any part of the LGBTQ plus community when she is, and like that just bugs her at this point. And I kind of feel bad because like I think if my hair's down, I think I read queer in some fashion. So and like it's a bit of a relief to sort of know that you kind of ping people's radar in that way. Do you think Hercules will be in the Eternals? I mean, maybe. Has he ever been associated with them? Like, I don't know a lot about the Eternals. Been out for 40 years now, though my understanding of who I am and how I describe it to others keeps evolving as I learn. That's a big thing, Raven. And, like, I might, at some point, probably over on the Vera Wild channel, devote a video to specifically talking about evolution. Because I think the narrative for a lot of LGBTQ plus people, and certainly a lot of people who've fallen under the trans umbrella, the popular narrative is that you sort of always knew that you were something other than what you were assigned at birth. And that certainly has been the experience of some, but it wasn't mine. I didn't grow up feeling wrong. I don't have dysphoria. And getting to where I am now has been an evolution. Like, I don't think I would have thought to or even been able to live the way I do now 5 years ago. Definitely not 10 years ago. So I don't think that what you see before you right now is something that I always was, but it was repressed. No, what I am now is what I have arrived to, and what I will be at some point later down the line could be something else completely. And it helps my frame of mind to sort of just be open to that, to whatever's next. Today I'm watching Avengers Endgame and I'm super hyped. Hope you enjoy it. Keep spoilers very, very, very far away from me. What was your dream job as a child? I tried being a comedian, but people kept laughing at me. Once I was old enough to like understand what certain jobs involved, I wanted to be an actor. Like at a really young age, I wanted to be a paleontologist because it was as close as I was going to come to seeing a dinosaur. But let's see. Have you watched Contraptions? Nope. Don't know what that is. Oh, you mean ContraPoints. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen her stuff. She's great. What's your favorite series of Doctor Who? Mine is 1, 4, 5. I mean, my favorite series of modern era Doctor Who is Series 4. That hasn't changed. I was a stand-up comic 5 years ago. Oh, whereabouts, Donna? Because, like, I tried my hand at stand-up comedy in New York, and I don't know if it's still like this, but certainly at the time that I was there, it was a rigged system that was designed to prey on the people trying to break in to the business. It wasn't fun. Oh, thank you, Nostalgia Guy. Thank you very much. So is Vera Wild an LGBT plus channel, or is it more a channel for those who enjoy cross-dressing? At this point in time, new material that go up there is primarily discussions of LGBTQ plus related stuff that doesn't tie into geeky media, because that stuff goes up here. What the Vera Wild channel, I can speak, originally was cross-dressing advice. So like the backlog is heavily that sort of thing. But the newer stuff that goes up there, which is not that frequent, I do a new video there like maybe once a month. That is much more broad LGBTQ plus topics. I had kind of hit all the major cross-dressing topics that I wanted to, and and I'm not saying I'll never talk about cross-dressing type stuff again. I just had kind of burned through all the stuff that I really felt was pressing that I wanted to get to. Oh, hey there, Tracy. Thank you. Have you ever seen Something Wicked This Way Comes, the 1983 dark fantasy from Disney? I haven't. I've read the book, but no, I haven't seen that. Oh yeah, it was a cutthroat business. That's why I went back to dental hygiene and writing. Yeah. Stand-up comedy. What stand-up comedy was like in New York when I was there, and again, it may have changed. I don't know, but when I was there, which was it was about 10 years ago now. If you couldn't be introduced as you've seen them on Comedy Central Presents or on X sitcom, if you couldn't be introduced with that kind of like preamble or credit, then what you were forced to do in order to get any time on anything vaguely resembling a professional comedy stage is what were called bringer shows. And what those was, in order to get your time on the stage, there had to be a certain number of people. Standard was 5. It had to be 5 people who came, paid the entrance fee at the door, cited you specifically as the reason they came to the show, and also bought the drink minimum. So in other words, they were using the people desperately trying to break in to the business to pad the audience numbers for the people who were already established. Because, like I said, if they could introduce you with any kind of, you've seen them on TV, you didn't have to bring people. But if you didn't, then you did. And, like, speaking personally, I wasn't going to ask my friends to pay door admission and drink minimum to come and see the same act they've already seen me do. Like, and even if I had new set for every single time I performed, I still wouldn't ask them to do that. Like, they were as broke as I was. So, like, yeah, rigged system. I'm a professional assassin for hire. Take a look out your window for proof. How do you feel about River Song and why? By the way, oh, thank you, Anya. I like River Song. I think that in some ways she does exemplify both what Moffat is good at and what he's not good at, which is that I love her banter. I think Moffat does banter very well. I like the timey-wiminess of her storyline and the nonlinear nature of her relationship with the Doctor. The emotional resonance of her rings the truest in her very first appearance, and in subsequent appearances since then, it's a little bit more, and like, if it works at all, I think that's much more down to the performance from Alex Kingston than it is from the writing, because I feel like Moffat kind of struggles with deeper emotional resonance. He kind of understands on a mechanical level how it should work, but he's not that great at pulling it out. And I do feel that kind of happened with River over time. So I still like her, but I get why she bothers other people. Man 1, I need you to choose a race to take part in. Man 2, relay. Man 1, yes, relay. Oh, God. Ow. Ben, that was awful. Ugh. Who was your doctor? I don't really have one. Like, the one that got me interested in watching the show was Tennant, but I'm still really hesitant to label anyone as my doctor. I just rarely deal in those kinds of definitives. Are you watching the prequel show of Game of Thrones? I mean, maybe. When it comes out, whatever it ends up being, I'll check it out briefly, I suppose. Do you prefer Jerome or Jeremiah? Oh, Jerome. Like, I don't get why they did what they did on Gotham. This is a Gotham tangent for anyone who didn't know what the heck that question was in reference to. Like, Jerome was just more fun, and I liked him way more. Jeremiah, he's gotten better, but like he was way more boring. Like, I get the angle on it, where like the emphasis was much more on the intelligence and sort of the planning end of it, which has gotten less of an emphasis lately. But I don't enjoy Jeremiah nearly as much. When you come out to people, do they ever say something like, "You're not a trans woman and you're attracted to women. I don't get what you're coming out as"? Well, it's hard to say because I haven't really had to come out in a while. And at this point, the people in my life are people who get it. Like, I've been very fortunate in that I don't really think there was anyone who was particularly close to me who was going to find it really weird or get thrown off by this. Like, slightly confused, some questions, maybe, but like not a whole "so wait a minute" kind of conversation. I haven't really had to do that. How do you feel about the Rise of Skywalker teaser? I did a video on it, so go check that out. I'm far less enthused than most people seem to be. Could greenlight a new Marvel or DC movie for a character not yet shown in the franchise, which would it be? Kamala Khan. And if I could greenlight a TV show, it would be She-Hulk. I'll always love the man in the scarf. He was the first one that I met so many years ago, but I have to say I'm fond of them all. Well, yeah, I mean, every doctor is somebody's doctor. Even the Sixth is somebody's doctor. Although I feel like that's a more legitimate position with Big Finish than it used to be. Are you looking forward to his Dark Materials TV series? Not really. I'm not like, but like I never read the books. And from like what the vibe I got off them and like the half of Golden Compass that I saw, I'm like, I don't think this is for me. And like I say that even understanding that the Golden Compass was not a particularly good adaptation of that, but it's still like the whole vibe of it. I'm like, I don't think this is my bag. Did you see a TV show named Grimm? I did. I did about 4 episodes of that, and it was solid enough. It didn't hook me enough to keep devoting my time to it. Do you have any tips for making Doctor Who reviews? Well, you say you're struggling. I guess it depends on what you're struggling with. I mean, all I do is sit down and talk about what I thought about a thing. I mean, like, I don't really have advice to give. I mean, what I do is exactly what it looks like. 5 is my doctor. We'll have words, Megan. No, that's fine. Like, I'm not... That's great that you love 5. I don't. Sorry, but that's great that you do. I like Jeremiah. Cool. Awesome. I'm happy for you. I still really don't, but there you go. We used to hook my laptop to the TV to watch Grimm because we didn't have cable. That's how much I liked it. Oh, nice. Rigging it up old school. Who is the best pony? I'm assuming you mean in terms of like My Little Pony? I don't know. Like, I'm friends with some really big fans of My Little Pony, but I do not know because I have not really watched it. 12 is my doctor. Capaldi is mine. 8 is mine. 4 is my first doctor. Yeah! Love people sharing that. What show did you think had a great premise but a poor execution and could do with a reboot? Ooh. That's actually a really good question, but one that I'm probably not going to be able to come up with an answer for off the top of my head. But I might steal that for like something down the line. Do you think CW TV shows are better than Marvel? taken collectively as a whole, I'd call it a wash. Because like there's really only one CW show that I really like and I'm still sticking with, and that's Legends of Tomorrow. And Marvel like did 2 phenomenal seasons of television and one pretty good one, and then the rest of it was varying degrees of so, you know, I don't know. Have you read the books of Song of Fire and Ice? No. A book that literally has to have a glossary at the back so you can keep track of who these people are intimidates me more than slightly. Did you get a physical copy of Player of Games or go with ebook? That one I went with ebook. Like when I did Monsters Regiment, I got a physical copy because, like, honestly, I haven't really read ebooks. Like that's a very new thing for me to even be trying to do. So I'm basically kind of trying to get my head around doing that better with this one. So we'll see. Someone should show you the Wheel of Time. I mean, I'm familiar with the Wheel of Time. I used to have to shelve that series back when I worked at Barnes & Noble, so I know it. My favorite Sonic voice actor. I will never understand why Sonic the Hedgehog questions keep popping up sporadically. Like, it's not my fandom. Like, has never been. Not the games, not the cartoons, not the comics. Like, I never got into it. So, favorite episode of Red Dwarf? I'm really fond of Marooned. Let's see. Hold on, let me check my notes. I'm realizing I've been going for a while now. Oh, okay. Here was a weird thing. I'm starting to get nervous about Netflix, like in the long term. So I haven't talked about this kind of stuff on the channel all that much. I used to talk about more back when I did the Go Home Hollywood You're Drunk podcast. This was the kind of thing I'd talk about. But it does interest me, so I'm going to bring it up here. So Netflix has basically gone into debt another $2 billion in order to fund its forward plans. Now, the thing is, they already had $10 billion in outstanding long-term debt, so they're now up to $12 billion in long-term debt. This is the 7th time in 4 years they've taken on additional debt totaling more than $1 billion at a whack. And they have a rather significant chunk of money, spending obligations on the books, like in the $19 billion range, that's going to be due within the next 5 years. And they haven't paid down any significant piece of their outstanding debt. So I really kind of wonder and worry that the Disney Plus thing is going to end up ultimately being a much bigger blow to them than I initially thought. Because initially I thought, well, they'll just be a competitor. But Disney is the Charles Foster Kane of companies. They can release a streaming platform and they can afford to lose money on it if they feel it's important enough. Netflix is so deep in debt right now, which, like, it worked when they were undeniably the top dog because they could count on, we dominate, we will continue to dominate, we can get there. But knowing how big Disney Plus is probably going to be, it's going to, I don't think it's going to knock them inherently out of the top position, but it's going to knock them out of what is a very comfortable lead position in streaming. And if they don't have that, these debts could kneecap them in a way they currently don't when they're on top of the pile. And I just really worry that they just took on a bunch more debt rather than trying to solidify their standing, from a financial perspective, like in preparation for what Disney's going to do. It's, yeah. Disney might buy Netflix. They bought everything else. No, they won't. Because they have the Fox deal came with a major stake in Hulu. So if they're going to buy anything, they're going to buy Hulu. They can outspend Netflix. So yeah, it's weird. Don't think Disney can legally buy Netflix. Well, things have gotten much more lackadaisical in terms of how big companies are being allowed to get versus what it used to be. So, I mean, who knows at this point? Favorite Powerpuff Girl? Buttercup. Amazon could try to purchase Netflix. Given that Amazon Prime is decent but a very small piece of the pie, honestly, that wouldn't be a bad move for them to make. I wouldn't mind seeing ads if all or at least most of the content is free, like in Crunchyroll. What do you think? I mean, I've never used Crunchyroll, so I don't have it as a basis. But the thing is, like, to my understanding, Crunchyroll has always had the ads. But with Netflix, it's really hard to stick ads in when your entire subscriber base is used to not having them. Like, that's a much harder sell. Are you a fan of Child's Play Chucky movies? I've only seen 2. I saw Bride of Chucky, which was fun. And I saw Seed of Chucky, which I completely zoned out during. I haven't seen any of the earlier ones. Like, like slasher-ish horror franchises like that aren't really my bag. There are, like, a few select ones here and there, like specific films that I will enjoy for one reason or another. But I'm not really big on most of those franchises. But, like, there's certain entries in, say, Nightmare on Elm Street that I like. There's certain entries in, there's one entry in Friday the 13th that I like. There's certain entries in the Aliens. There's the first Jaws movie, things like that. But, like, the franchise, I don't stick with these things, these long-running horror things. Let's see. Would Redbox teaming partner with Netflix be too far of a stretch? I don't know, because I don't know how firm Redbox is standing in the first place is. Did you like The Time of the Doctor? It is my favorite regeneration story. Well, then I hate to break your heart, but no, I really don't like Time of the Doctor at all. Which is a shame, because I really like 11. Have you seen Bound? Oh, have I seen Bound? Yes. And it is so good. I got to watch that for the first time just last year with Liz, because she'd seen it, but she hadn't seen it since college. So, if you've never seen Bound, if you have any interest in LGBTQ plus films at all, and you haven't seen Bound, which was the first movie that the Wachowskis did, check it out. It's thank you, Edward. My voice did a weird thing there. I already thought yours was one of the most eloquent and well-balanced pop culture analysis channels on YouTube, but more recently you've helped me find peace with my gender identity. Oh my gosh! That is wonderful to hear. And thank you. Like, it's still, I've heard from people, like, because like the Vera Wild channel is even older than this one is. So I've had people sporadically, intermittently, saying this helped me, that video helped me for a long time, but it never stops being amazing and, like, kind of blows my mind. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you, In Quiet Nightshade. I've always wanted to see Bound. Yeah, make time. Gina Gershon in that movie may well be the single just sexiest thing. Just walking into a room. It's like, ugh. And like, I very rarely describe anything as sexy. It's like, it's a term that I'm not even sure I'm consciously like cautious about, but I very rarely do it, but damn, man. Do you think Jamie should have had to face consequences for what he did to Bran? I thought the episode would be about that, but Bran kept quiet. I think under the circumstances, it makes sense that he didn't, because they are dealing with way bigger things, and Bran knows that better than anybody. So it actually made a lot of sense to me that happened. You're very well spoken. I'm envious. Much love and respect for your LGBTQ plus videos. Thank you very much for that. What water do you have today? I have a pina colada. I forgot my water. Oh, thank you, Gabe. Most important to be true to yourself always. Oh my gosh, yes. And even doubly so if it is taking you a long time to even figure out who yourself is. What genre is it, and is Bound gory? Bound is, I would call it neo-noir. It is not particularly gory. There is some violence in it, there is some blood in it, but it's that sort of neo-noir detective, steamy thriller kind of thing. Genre-wise is where it lands. Get your water. We'll wait. I know you said that earlier, but I don't want to leave you folks. Bound isn't horror. Yeah, it's more of a modern film noir. What is the best cards you've played when playing Cards Against Humanity? Oh, I don't know. Like, that stuff doesn't stick in my head the way it probably would if I was younger. Like, because I can still remember, like, really good dice rolls in a D&D game from 8th grade, but I can't remember Cards Against the Humanity, good plays of that. Although I've recently discovered the game What Do You Meme, which, if you've got the dirty version of that one gets interesting. And also, Joking Hazard. That one's a lot of fun too. Do you have Cards Against Muggles? That's a thing? This is news to me. I missed this. Saying goodnight to the other Amanda. Oh, people leaving. If you get your water, we'll all be sitting in your room. Hey, yeah. That's I would recommend Bucket of Doom. It's another really fun game. Like, I gotta hang out more with my friends who have because I have several friends who have like a lot of games, a lot of board and card games. Like, I've got some friends here in the town where I live, and I've got some friends over like more in the area where I do a lot of burlesque who do that kind of, who have a lot of games and do that kind of stuff a lot. I gotta get in on more of that stuff because I enjoy it. Even this one basically was given to me by somebody who had a duplicate set. So like, I don't buy this stuff for myself because I don't run these games on my own, but I do enjoy them when I get the chance. Have you gotten far enough into player of games to know what drones are? No, I have not gotten that far yet. Like I said, dude, I just started the thing. I recommend Unstable Unicorns. Super fun, plus there's a Not Safe for Work expansion pack. Like, that, honestly, that's a big selling point. If I can get a Not Safe for Work version, yeah. Let's get some friends together, we'll drink heavily and do that. That's always good. Have you seen Doom Patrol? I haven't yet. I think I would like it, but again, time. I'm trying desperately to get into a rhythm of film production that might feasibly at some point free up a little bit more time, but it's just hard. Gotta go. 2 a.m. here going. Oh yeah, Ingrid, get some sleep. Thanks for stopping in though. None of these games beat Doctor Who Top Trumps on the Nintendo DS. Not familiar with that one. Exploding Kittens are by the same people. Exploding Kittens I do know. I think I only played it once. But yeah, I do know Exploding Kittens. How often do you perform burlesque and do you travel to festivals? I perform usually once a month, sometimes twice a month, depending on what's going on. I haven't done, I mean, I do the Vermont Burlesque Festival because I live in Vermont. But I haven't done a festival aside from the Vermont Burlesque Festival since 2017. I did the Montreal Burlesque Festival. The thing about burlesque festivals, even though I do enjoy them, unless you're a headliner, you're not getting paid. And you have to do your own travel, pay for your own lodgings. Like, headliners get a stipend. People running workshops get a stipend, but if you're just there to perform, it's a money pit. So I really I would love to do more festivals, but I'm just not in a position to be able to even afford to consider doing a festival that's anywhere outside of a day trip drive for me. It's just not viable. Have you seen the Discovery season finale? I have yet to see any of Discovery. Killer Bunnies is great. God, I just love the names of these things. Are all burlesque 18 plus? I mean, I'm 23, but I'm curious. Never been to one. As a rule of thumb, yes. Largely just because of what a burlesque performance generally is, but also because of where they used to happen. I would say 18 plus is a minimum. A lot of them are 21 plus because a lot of burlesque shows happen at places that sell liquor or at bars with stage areas. So oftentimes they're 21 plus, unless the location will let in people under 21, but makes them wear a wristband or something to identify that they're not to be served drinks or what have you. So yeah, pretty much any burlesque show is going to be at least 18 plus, if not 21 plus. What's your favorite So Bad It's Good movie? I don't really do the So Bad It's Good thing. I think I need to add that question to the drinking game list of questions, because I feel like I get that one semi-regularly. I did a burlesque show. My shy and coordinated self did not have a great time. Expand your comfort zone. They said, yeah, it's not for everybody. I gravitated towards burlesque very naturally because I enjoy performing. I just enjoy being on a stage. I will get on a stage for whatever reason I can, whether it is acting in a play, whether it is giving a talk, whether it is doing stand-up comedy, whether it is taking my clothes off in a burlesque number. Give me a stage and I will get on it. So if you don't have a natural performer instinct, you're probably not going to have a great time. That's at least probably not a great time performing it. That said, there's plenty of burlesque classes out there. And I think even if you don't ever intend to actually get on the stage, I think there's a lot of people that I've known who take a lot of value out of a burlesque class and finding it very empowering, just as something to learn how to do, even if they never do it for an audience. Good night. Oh, night, folks who are headed out. Exploding Kittens has a not safe for work pack too. It's interesting. I'm in Ireland, so it's rare over here, but one of my university friends is a burlesque performer. Never really asked him about it. Oh, okay. So I guess if it's a he, then he's probably a boylesque performer, which is a pretty specific. Burlesque is divided into all these little crazy subdivisions, because you have classic burlesque, which is based off how it used to be back in the day, which is a lot of rhinestones, a lot of big feathers, big boas, and not as elaborate in the choreography. You've got neo-burlesque, which is, and also classic burlesque is a lot of slow jazz. You've got neo-burlesque, which is a lot more modern, a lot faster pace, a lot more of an emphasis on tight choreography and group numbers. You've got nerdlesque, which is what it sounds like, is burlesque based around geeky pop culture stuff. You've got boylesque, which is male burlesque performers. It really kind of is all over the place. Is burlesque inherently sexual? Well, yes. Because it's an inherent part of a burlesque performance that you are going to be taking some part of your clothing off. And that said, a burlesque number does not always have to be sexy. I've seen burlesque numbers that are funny. I've seen burlesque numbers that are sad. I've seen burlesque numbers that are political statements. I've seen burlesque numbers that freaked me out. So they can be a very wide range of things, but as a rule of thumb, the removal of clothes is part of the story you're telling, whatever that story may be. So there is always that element to it. It could very well be getting subverted, or be playing, getting played straight. But yes, it's always kind of there. Love nerdlesque. Yeah, nerdlesque is kind of that's my lifeblood right there. Should I say I'm Irish too now, or are you a fan of Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Yes, I am. I'm not current on it, but I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine quite a bit. Have you managed to watch any more of Dr. Robot since you reviewed the first 2 episodes? I have not yet. I would like to check it out, but again, just time. Somebody needs to invent more time. Xenomorph burlesque ideas I'm having. See, not as weird as you think. There's a performer I know named Merrick Hysteric. She has a Jurassic World number with a puppet, like a little puppet of a raptor that like bites parts of her clothes off. It's like whatever you think, whatever idea that you think, like, oh, that's too weird for burlesque. No, it's not. Not only is it not too weird for burlesque, there's a good chance somebody's already done it. Like, I do wonder if one of these days I should, like, prep just a list of, sorry, hang on, guys, give me a second. I gotta ban somebody off here. There we go. Cool. Awesome. Sorry about that. Perhaps a silly question, but are nerdlesque performers dressed as pop culture characters? Yes, generally. I myself have a number of nerdlesque acts. I have 2 Doctor Who acts that I've done. I had an 11th Doctor act, and I now have a 13th Doctor act. I have a Poison Ivy act. I have a Wonder Woman act. Nerdlesque. I've done hosting I did hosting as Black Canary. I'm gonna be having a Star Wars number next month. That'll be debuting. And I have a Janine Melnitz, the secretary from Ghostbusters, but specifically the cartoon version of Janine. I have an act for that as well. There's probably more that I've forgotten. Can you shout out my friend? It's his birthday. His name is Nick Gurr. Hey, Nick! Have a happy birthday. That is weird. Was distracted for a bit, lost track of chat. What happened? Apparently, we've just gone into the burlesque chat corner over here. Are you emotionally ready for Endgame? I think I am. We'll see. Does her Jurassic World number involve never taking high heels off no matter what happens? Well, yes. Her heels do not come off in that number. Yeah. See, that's what my favorite nerdlesque numbers, it's not just a matter of like, oh, I'm dressed like this person and the best nerdlesque numbers are really informed by the character and the property that they're emulating. The best nerdlesque performers love whatever nerdy thing they're doing, and they get all the details right. Like, to scary degrees. There's a nerdlesque performer named Ellie Quinn, who is amazing. She has the most insane numbers. She has a Kirby number, like the pink puffball. It's insane. And she has a Hamburglar number. She's incredible. See, I would love to do burlesque along with other dances, but I have CP and use a wheelchair and cane. Well, here's the thing. You said that I have a friend who recently went through a lot of difficulties and is currently wheelchair bound, and she is planning out a number that she will do from her wheelchair. So if you can figure out how to do it, they'll let and you can just get on the stage. Burlesque community is, in my experience, and not every single burlesque community is this open, but my experience with the burlesque community is that it is the most open, all are welcome, come and show us what you've got artistic community I've ever been involved in. And again, I'm not going to say there's no elements of, body shaming. You have to have a really specific thing like that exists, but that's never been my experience. And I've never had anyone as open, collectively as an artistic community as burlesque has been. Basically, the only rule of burlesque, as far as I'm concerned, and this is the vibe I've always gotten, is don't half-ass it. Whatever you do it, give it your all. But aside from that, whatever you want to bring, somebody will put it on stage. Ellie is amazing. Oh God, yeah, she is. Very important question. If suddenly a flying muffin appeared, what would you do? Depends. Is it floating or is it like zooming around? So like, I feel like my reaction might be different depending on that. Hamburglar, yes, she has a Hamburglar number. Green Mountain is so inspirational. Oh, Green Mountain Cabaret is awesome. Grumble. Why is there grumbling? I missed something. It has marshmallow wings and zooms around. I'd probably treat it the same as I would if a bird or a bat was in here. I'd try and shoo it out a window, just because I don't know what's going on with that, but I don't need it in my house. Did you survive the Thanos snap? Funny you ask that. We did the Green Mountain Cabaret just this past weekend. Did their Disney villains show, and by and large, it was Disney villains from like the cartoons and whatnot. But we did allow a handful of villains from things that Disney owned. So like there was one Star Wars villain number. There was a Hela number, and there was a Thanos number. Now, I hosted that show, or co-hosted rather, because it was me and another host. And what we did, because at the very end of the Thanos number, the performer was Alexa Luthor, who's fantastic. At the very end of the number, because the number is her like with the gauntlet, and she's placing the gems as the number goes along. And at the very end, she does the snap. So what we did is, after she did the snap and she exited the stage, the other host came on and I didn't. And so we played it off like I had gone in the snap. And then when I came back after the following number, my co-host asked me, wait, what just happened? How did you come back? And I just sort of went, shh, spoilers. It was a lot of fun. This burlesque chat is so interesting. Yeah, I hadn't planned on it being this, but I've enjoyed talking about it. After the stream ends, I'll comment the flying muffin story. Huh. Your thoughts on the Ant-Man Thanos theory? I don't think it will work because I think Thanos' body mass is too dense. I honestly think that Ant-Man would he'd try to expand and he'd just get crushed internally. And I don't think it would actually work. Yeah, it's got to go. It was, yeah, good to see you, Amanda. I'm probably going to be wrapping up soon. I've gone longer than usual tonight, but I've just, it turned into burlesque chat, and I love talking about this stuff. I'll tell you, just watch for it. That's ominous. What was the character you liked, identified with the most growing up? I don't know. Like, you'd have to narrow it down. Like, I could tell you, like, growing up, my favorite Star Wars character or my favorite Ghostbuster, or, like, I could get more specific, but, like, broadly speaking, I'm not sure I could go that broad. How did you decide on Vera instead of Natalie? Okay, funny story, and I might wrap up after this. So, obviously, Natalie would be the feminized version of my own normal name, which is Nathaniel. And actually, in like very early days of sort of getting a handle on myself, and sort of mainly kind of limiting myself to things like online forums for gender questioning or cross-dressing or what have you. I experimented with a variety of different names, and one of them was Natalie. The reason I didn't stick with that is because my daughter's mother, who was my girlfriend at the time that I started, first like getting ready to come out in public. She was very supportive. She always was, and she actually helped teach me makeup early on. But her sister's name was Natalie. So that weirded her out just a little too much for me to be called Natalie. And so like coming up with Vera was like a separate thing, but like Natalie got scratched off as a possibility because of that, which I'm actually kind of okay with, because like I really like Vera at this point. It's 1 a.m. Good night. Oh yeah, get some sleep, Jamie. And I gotta wrap up. The comic book at the top of the pile behind your right side. Is it a Spider-Man comic? Yes. Oh, it's because I had knocked stuff over. Yeah, no, I had this taken out because somebody called out like my dislike of Sal Buscema's art, and I had this readily at hand to try and show people why I don't like Sal Buscema's art. I mean, like, look at the faces. Look at Iceman. Look at his face. I get so much crap for not liking this guy's art, and I don't get it. Anyways. Here in Washington, D.C., it's 4:20 a.m. Oh, really? Vera's a better name. Oh, thank you. Think Vera suits your personality better? Cool. I'll take it. Can someone tell me why this guy popped up in my feed? What does he do? Oh boy. Well, Jonas, yeah, I'm wrapping it up soon, but long story short, I have a channel that's devoted to mostly talking about geeky stuff like Marvel and Doctor Who and Star Wars and stuff like that. And sometimes I talk about LGBTQ plus representation. So I don't know if any of that lines up with what you'd want to be seeing. If not, sorry. I'm in Massachusetts. It's 8:20 at night. Yeah. Any particularly memorable Doctor Who burlesque acts involving regeneration? See, the thing, I've only seen a couple of Doctor Who acts aside from my own. My 11th Doctor number, which I haven't done in years, because like the premise is kind of outdated now. I'll explain why. So I did my 11th Doctor number back when Matt Smith was still the Doctor. And I played the 11th Doctor, and then I regenerated into a woman, which was kind of a novel idea. Obviously, now, not so much. The Doctor is actually a woman, so like the number isn't a novelty anymore. I probably won't ever bring it back. But that's okay, because I have a 13th Doctor number now, so it works out. Suddenly a flying muffin appeared. What is with these muffins, man? Is there like a rift to the flying muffin dimension? Did I anger the muffin lich? Is that what's going on? Everybody loves the hair. It has its own fan club. Thank you, Carowin, for that. I appreciate that very much. Who's your favorite Gotham villain? I'm tempted to answer, but I don't think I'm going to, because that's gonna be like spoilers for when Liz and I do a top 10 Gotham characters. Do you know the Flying Muffin Man? Okay. I think I am gonna wrap it up because I have editing to do tonight, so that I need to get cracking on. So it's been good. This was fun. I enjoyed that it ended up going in this complete other direction of burlesque and this other stuff. I have really enjoyed this. That was a lot of fun. Give a shout out to my friend Sam Meyer. Hi, Sam. Don't know you, but hope you're cool. You and I are still gonna have words about the Fifth Doctor. Bring it on. Seriously, read a few notes on culture before getting more into the novel. I will. I will do that. Happy editing. Oops, need to edit that. I love these live streams, but need to remember they start an hour earlier for me now. Oh, you don't have daylight savings nonsense. All right. Well, good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching and sticking with me. And 18 years since Shrek went. Oh, God, thanks for leaving me feeling really old. Nice work getting that jab in at the very end. All right. See everybody. Hope you have a good rest of the week. If you get to Endgame, enjoy.